That doesn't seem good. Oh. Oh.
Skip.
Oh.
Very skip.
Whoa. No, I don't want that.
Oh.
Some textual support. Here we go. Zachary. Wait, we have questions over answers first, because that way we'll all be on the same proverbial page. Emily?
What was number 2, the mode and median?
Number 2, the mode was 12 and the median was 13. Is that what you're going to answer? Joseph?
2 questions. What was the answer for 3?
Do I have to give them all? 8,
No,
8.
wait, no. What was the number?
There are 8 of them.
Okay.
Is there another question in your future? Because you said there were 2.
And for number 11, is it okay if I put 6.80?
It's okay if you put 62.80, but not 6.80. 62.8. Anything else? Sophia.
What was number 16?
16 was -6. All right, children. This is where you generally write some notes to yourself that help you get a good grade. Will tomorrow be that day when I say the 7th grade, I am incredibly impressed, which was 2 tests ago, or will it be like the last test where I go, wow, crash and proverbially burn? Yes, it would be. Emma Miller, what do you got? How do I do it? That's always a good question. I would like to think I would do it like this. Well, first of all, what part do you struggle with? Do the numbers, is the numbers okay? Because 9 goes into 36 4 times, so you get that 4 up there. But are you down with that? Does that make sense? Okay. And then it's just a matter of, I mean, if it helps to think about x squared as being x times x, one of those x's is going to cross off with the 1x on the bottom and leave you with an x up there. On top there are 3 y's, because that's what y cubed is, and one of those 3 are going to cross off with the 1 y on the bottom, and you're going to be left with y squared on top. So left on top is 4x y squared. That help?
Yeah.
Connor.
I forget how you did number 1. Well, like these.
Did you, the easiest way to do it, well, that's another thing. Doing number 1 in the easiest way of doing number 1 could be 2 different things. Yeah, and see, to me, there's not necessarily any easy way to do that. I mean, I just kind of have to think about this. I look at how to, going to the next hour, to get to 9 o'clock, Connor, it would take what? 15 minutes, so you have 15 minutes. And then I'd have to go, because you're going to the next morning, then I'd go to 12 o'clock noon, which is what? 3 hours, correct? Then I go from 12 noon, or 12 in the morning to 6 in the morning, which is what? 6 hours. And then I'm going to go from 6 o'clock to 6:35, which is 35 minutes. And then you kind of have to put all those together. 35 minutes and 15 minutes is 50 minutes. You can do the math, then 6 plus 3 is 9. So 9 hours, 15 minutes. I suppose you could do it with the 12-hour clock. I mean, you'd have to add 12 probably to this and get, I mean, you could add 12 hours to that and get 18:35 and subtract 8:45 from it. But then you have to do some borrowing. This becomes a 7. And you have to remember that there's not just 10 minutes an hour, there are 60, so this becomes a 95. 45 from 95 is 50. There's your 50 minutes. And 8 from 17 is 9 hours. So time is not generally your friend when it comes to, it's not based on 10, so it's kind of tough. Chase.
How would you do number 7?
Does it start with Rick? Oh, Ricardo. Ricardo. What was his average rate in miles per hour? So you're just doing this. You're going 15 miles in 20 minutes, right? but I don't want it in minutes. I want it in hours. So you just have to think, instead of 20 minutes, how many minutes do you want it in? No, 60. There's 60 minutes in an hour. So it's just making an equal ratio. You could do this as a ratio box, I suppose, as well, but it's just equal fractions. You'd have to multiply by 3, and you'd have to multiply this by 3. It would be 45 miles per 1 hour, because that's what 60 minutes is. Somebody else do it a different way? Like kind of the way everybody did it. Sometimes I get lost. So,
How do I do number 6?
this one says ratio right off the bat, so I would do that. I leave room for total in case there one, but flour to sugar for the recipe is 3 to 2. If 3 cups of sugar are used, how many cups of flour are needed? You don't need this total box here. So here's your equal fractions, children, and this is a case where it doesn't work out evenly, so you really need to have, how do you solve that thing there? When they don't work out evenly, you are going to do what? Lauren? Cross multiply, cross products, whatever it is, however you want to call it. You're going to take this times this. 2 times n has to equal 3 times 3. So 2n equals 9. Divide by 2, divide by 2. 2 goes into 9. 4.5 times. Or 4.5 or what? Slower. What part? Tell me when tell me when it got out of control for you. Did you get to that point? Because this is 3 over 2, and that equals n over 3. Did you get that?
Yes, so I put that down to 3 over 2 times n over 3.
Right. So to do this, it makes equal fractions, so that's what I wrote here. 3 over 2 equals n over 3. Now back in the day, we would do it like this. Well, 2 times what is 3, but it doesn't go in there evenly. So when it doesn't go in there evenly, you have to use cross products. What cross products tells you is that when you multiply the 2 diagonals, they have to be equal. 2 times this number has to equal 3 times 3. And now you've got a nice little equation that you can solve. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times what number is 9? How do you solve that? Well, you divide by 2, you divide by 2, and it's 9/2. If you want to leave it as 9/2, that's fine, but it's 4.5.
So we wouldn't get it wrong if we just left it.
If you left 9/2, I would get it. Especially being so close to Christmas. Any other day, probably not. But Zachary.
Could you speed all the answers for number 3?
Well, I might as well do it and show you. That way you'll see it in living color. Number 3, it says what? If you flip 3 coins, the coin is flipped 3 times. So here's the deal. The first time, when you flip a coin, your only choices are a head or a tail. After that, your second time, off of each one of these, you could get a head or a tail. And then your third flip means after each one of these, you get another chance for a head or a tail. And your combinations come from this. You just follow the little link down. You can go head, head, head. You can go head, head, tail. You can go head, tail, head. You can go head, tail, tail. Those are all the ones you get when you start with the head. And then you get all these with the tail. Tail, head, head. Tail, head, tail. Tail, tail, head. And tail, tail, tail. Those are your 8 possibilities there if you flip your coin 3 times. Voila! Does that help, Zach? picking up what I'm laying down? Young Joseph.
How do you do number 13?
Number 13, children, is quite an interesting problem in my book. Are you looking for the area, Joseph? And how did you cut it, Joseph? Well, there's two ways to look about it. What did you do? Tell me what you tried. Don't.
I
That's,
think that's where I went wrong. I didn't cut it.
so you just got 72? You got 48.
I got 72 inches squared.
Well, Joseph, 72 inches squared would be if this was a rectangle like this, because that would be 6 times 12, the whole thing. So you can't do that. You got to cut it into pieces, and I guess the easiest thing to do is just go straight down here, make this a triangle and a rectangle. What is the area of this rectangle, Joseph? 8 times 6. This is 48. And then I have to do this triangle. Why? You know, did I ask you guys this? Why don't I put this over here? Why do I keep reading across when I can just sit right here and do this? There's no reason. So Joseph, you being the stellar mathematician, what's my formula for the area of a triangle?
Area of triangle equals 1/2 base times height.
Alright. And my height I already know is 6, because it's that same 6 right there. What's my base from here to here? Well, it's 8 from here to here, so what number would you add to 8 to get to 12?
4.
Asked and answered. 4 times 6 is 24. Half of 24 is 12. So totally, it's 48 plus 12, which is 60 inches squared. Live.
How did you get number 17?
What note do you suppose I would leave myself for problem number 17? What note would I leave myself? Because I can tell you, if you got this wrong, where a lot of people go wrong. If you had to guess, what would it be? Anybody? Liv?
Right hand is down.
Yeah, follow order of operations, because you have to do this first because it's multiplication. So if you added or subtracted these first, you're going to find yourself in a small little bit hurt. So who asked me this question? So did you take 3/4 and multiply it by this as an improper fraction, which is 4/3?
Yes.
And what happens when you multiply those together? You get 12 over 12, right? 12 over 12 is 1. So you're going to take 7/6 and subtract 1 from it. Well, what is 1 with the denominator is 6? It's 6/6. And 7/6 minus 6/6 would be 1/6. Where'd you go wrong, Liv?
I divided.
That'll do it every time. Every time I've divided when it said to multiply, I've got the problem wrong. I don't know if that's just coincidence or if that's just the way math works. I'm not 100% sure at this point. So many questions, so few people. Emma Miller, let's go with another one. I was hoping for number 18, but I guess now I'll have to. Is that down here? Is that on the other page? 2? Is it on here? First one on the back?
Yes.
During the holiday, the store discounted all items 1/3. What is the discount? Okay. Fractions and percents are all the same. You want to know this. The discount is 1/3, so you and I want to know what third of $19.95 is. A third of that. The word of means two. So 1/3 times 19.95. But the deal is when I multiply those together, what actually am I going to do? you're going to take 3 into 1995. Bring up the decimal. 3 goes into 19, 6 times, which is 18. 6 times, which is 18. 15, which is 5 times. Your discount is $6.65. Where'd you go wrong, Em?
I took 33.1% and then made 1/3 of it and 2.332.
Okay. Moving on. Yeah, you didn't have a percent, so you don't need to change it to a percent. Madison?
I'm confused on how to do number 14.
No more than I. What is number 14? Ladies and gentlemen, we talked about this before. What does inverse mean but nothing more than opposite operations? We talked about this with equations. You have this equation. If you were saying this out in English form, you would say 0.8 times x equals 1.2. 0.8 times x equals 1.2. To solve that, to get rid of the number in front of the x, you use what its inverse operation is, or the opposite of the operation it is. What's the opposite of multiplication? Division. And that's what the inverse operation is. So you are going to divide this by 0.8, because 0.8 divided by 0.8 is 1. But the rule says if you divide one side by it, you got to divide the other side by it, and you also must divide that by 0.8. Now this maybe is where people get confused because I don't know what, but the 0.8 is the one doing the dividing. It is the divisor. Inside is the 1.2. It is the dividend. And your answer, you have to move the decimal, remember? Move the decimal, it goes right here. Straight up, goes right there. 8 goes into 12 once. Subtract, bring down. 8 goes into 45 times. Please make sure, ladies and gentlemen, if it is a decimal problem, please give your answer in decimal form. Not that I wouldn't accept 1.5, but if it's given, if they use decimals, your answer should be in decimal form. It's just the way things work. Where'd you go wrong, ma'am?
For some reason I said that 8 times 4 was 4.
Any particular reason you want to divulge? Why don't I just keep this here? Just why don't I keep reaching across the board? Any other questions out there in the mathematical world? Always, always, always pretend like you at least care. Brian?
How do you do number 18?
I mean the one that I was at when I said why I was hoping somebody would ask me for 18? I will tell you the 2 places. How many got this wrong? Raise your hand if you got number 18 wrong. Are you kidding me?
I missed it by 1 times.
Well, and I'll tell you if you missed it by 1, what you probably missed it by. 2 things that people go wrong in a problem like this. They either go wrong with this or they go wrong with this. Anything to the 0 power is?
1.
Thank you very much. 1.
That's right. That's right.
And 1 to the 4th power is 1 times 1 times 1 times 1, which is 1. PEMDAS say you have to do exponents before we do anything else. So 1 to the 4th is 1. 2 to the 3rd power is not 6. 2 to the 3rd power is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. 3 to the 2nd power is also not 6. It's 3 times 3, which is 9. And anything to the 1st power is itself. 1 plus 8 is 9. 2 plus 3 is 18. Plus 4 is 22. Plus 1 is 23. Which reminds me, children, I just saw this on Facebook, which to me is, Facebook is such a good tool for life. You should live by Facebook rules. Good for her. What was the problem? What is the answer to that? Let's see if you're smarter than 90% of the people on the internet. What is the answer to that? Really, you're gonna take it? You really want to take a shot at it? Sophia, 11.
Yeah.
No.
And there you go. And there you have it, people. I give you the simple little rules. You have to follow the simple little rules. Layton,
15.
why is it 15?
Because 2 plus 1 equals 3, and then 3 times.
This is this, right?
Yes.
This is this, and this is this. What should you do first?
Wait, how would
Yes.
Wait, why? How would the second? How would the first the 3 to the left get pressed?
What?
How would the 3?
It doesn't matter. This is next to this parenthesis, so this is times. This is 3 times whatever the parenthesis is. Parentheses have to be done first, so you get 3. And then it's 3 times that. The last thing you do is addition, which would be that.
Oh.
Or, no, I can't do that. Another one that gets people is this one. How about the answer to that one? Bivens. Bivens says 2. Does somebody say something else? Connor. 1. Does somebody say? Cassandra. 8. Wow. So far we've got 3 different answers for the same, and it's nothing but easy math. Wait, that all the 3 choices I got? Nobody's gonna shoot neither one of those. Some of those may not be right. All right. Hemda says parentheses first. So everybody probably got this.
Yes.
Now, multiplication and division. Did I do something wrong?
No.
Multiplication and division fall on the same level, and you have to work from left to right. So you have to do this first. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then 2 times 4 is 8. Just saying, if you follow the order, the problem is you start thinking, I don't know what you're thinking. But it's you and 90% of the people in the world fall for that.
Jim, next.
Anyways, back to the test, children. I just thought that was a good test. Nope.
How do I do number 16?
Who?
16.
16. Order of operations, so you have to do what first? Sorry. Yeah, what you must understand, children, a fraction line is a grouping symbol, which means you have to think about all of this on top as one thing, and everything on bottom is another thing in big parentheses. You have to simplify each of those before you can do that division. So on top, -3 times -4, positive 12. On bottom, it's just a -2. What is 12 divided by -2? Yeah, 1 negative is negative, so it's -6. Emma!
With number 16, I don't understand why bottom 2 would make it negative because isn't the bigger number that makes it
That's an
negative?
addition and subtraction. Multiplication, the rule for multiplication and division is if there's an odd number of negatives or an even number of negatives. If there's an odd number of negatives, it's going to be negative, which if you look at this, 1, 2, 3 negatives, I could have told you right off the bat my answer was going to be negative. Okay. Addition, subtraction, the bigger one is going to get the sign. If I had 2 minus or 12 minus 2 or -2 plus 12, yeah, you're going to get positive 10 because that one's bigger, but not with multiplication division. Sittler!
Number 19, I don't know how I got it.
Did you write the right problem? No. Do I still want to do it? But again, let's do it just because. Again, this is a grouping symbol, so you have to do this and do that, and then finish up with your division. 2.48 minus 1 should be pretty simple for you. It is 1.48, correct? And 2 times 0.2 is, I'll rephrase that, 2 times 0.2 is 0.4, and then it's just division from there. Move the decimal, 4 goes into 14 3 times, 4 goes into 28 7 times. We should put something on the line. That should be like a reward if everybody does well, or we achieve a certain level.
I've never done that.
Huh?
I wouldn't feel public. No, I've never got an
What?
Connor, it's somewhat about the effort sometimes. Much better than it was. Sometimes you have to learn to help yourself, like jotting down notes and all this sort of stuff here. And Sophia,
How do I do number 11?
what's that big question mark on my board for?
Here.
Down there in the corner. Did you say 11?
Yeah.
What is the circumference of the circle? That is a tough one. So this was the circle. I'm guessing you wrote down the circumference formula? You did. What was that circumference formula? Okay, circumference equals diameter times pi. Usually go pi times diameter. And they told you to use this for pi. So did you?
Yes.
So you got 3.14. And then the other part would be, did you actually do the diameter, or did you write the radius down for pi? For this. What is the diameter, ma'am? Right. The diameter is all the way across, so it should have been 20. So 3.14 times 20. 62.8. And the same thing for area. Area should be easy because it's just pi times radius times radius. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 3.14 is 31.4. That one should be easy. What is this? This is just centimeters. That's centimeters.
Wait, what?
I'm sorry to go that fast, but you didn't ask the question on my own. So what? Should have been 314. I know, I was just going really fast. I lost most of the audience an hour ago. I think John is actually sleeping with his eyes open.
Sounds like something.
It happens, doesn't it, Aaron? Have you ever seen him sleep with his eyes open? Does anybody know anybody that sleeps with their eyes open?
Sydney does.
Or your sister? As opposed to the day?
She didn't cough. I only died.
Any other ones? Connor?
How big is number 12?
You wrote down the formula, Connor? And did you get, so circumference area equals pi times radius, right? What is the radius? 10, and you had that?
Yeah.
And what is pi?
2
Okay. And you multiply this, what is 10 times 10?
100.
And if you take 3.14 times 100, hopefully 7th grade by now, you're not writing all that out because that's mental math there. You really should do that mental math because if you're not, you're probably going to get it. What is the answer? You just move the decimal 2 places because there are 2 zeros in 100. Your answer is 314. Huh?
I overcomplicated that for you.
Well, that happens. Zachary?
Number 8.
I don't like number 8. What is the question? How many liters is a half a gallon of milk? So here's that. So let's draw this little picture up here. Here's my whole gallon, and it is 3.78 liters. But I don't want a whole gallon, Zach. I want, Zach? How much do I want, Zach? I want a half a gallon. I just want this much. So if a whole gallon is 3.78, how would you figure out what a half a gallon is? What? Nah, I think I'd go easier than that, Zach. Zach, what's your whole age? What's half your age? What did you do?
Oh.
0.78 divided by 2. 1.8. 9. Don't overcomplicate that one either. You're just doing half.
Can we either record sheet for those foods or no?
I don't know, why would you need to? It tells you that
Oh, yeah, you're right.
a gallon.
Why don't you just write down all the questions?
You could, that's why I'm thinking this would not be that much. Andrew, I like the flashy lights there. That's cool.
Nice.
Did you get that? Is that yours? Do you wear that around the house? Lauren? Number 15 was -5. Let's look and see what we still have left to do, because I guess we have time then. What quadrilateral does not have rotational symmetry? A 50-pound question. Look at all the questions go now. Emma Miller. Number 4. You'd have to get problem number 3, I think, right? To get number 4. I need to do number 4. Is that not right? Let's take a look and see here. If a coin is flipped 3 times, what is the probability of getting heads at least twice? So you've got all of your possibilities here. So you know your bottom is going to be 8 because there's 8 different possibilities. So now you just have to find which one of these have a head at least twice. 3 is at least 2, that's at least 2, that's at least 2. This is at least 2, and that is it. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 of them that it's at least 2. 4 out of the 8. So the probability is 1/2. Didn't say exactly 2, that would change it. It says at least 2. Wow, that brought up all sorts of questions. Zach?
Those.
I assume that means 2. I'm not real fluent in Spanish, even after taking it for 15 years now. Find the mode median. Zachary, how did you go about arranging these numbers? Did you make a line plot? Did you just order them from least to greatest? Did you do a stem and leaf plot? Did you not do any of those? Because if you don't do those, you're going to get it wrong.
I just added them all. And then I
You added them all to find what? Because that would be average. And it doesn't ask you for average. It asks you for the mode, which is the one that happens the most. And it asks you for median, which is the one in the middle. Neither one of those would you have to add in. Did anybody do a line plot? Did you just order them from least to greatest? Or did you just not do any of that? Lauren, you did what? So then you just got to make sure that you're just doing your thing right. So you got 2 11s, right? Do I have any more 11s? How many 12s? 1, 2, 3, 4 12s. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many 13s? 1, just 2? Stop me if I'm getting this wrong, kids. Bad time to get on the teacher's bad side. How many 14s? 3 14s? How many 15s? How many 16s? So there you go. So which one happens the most?
12.
Appears there are 4 12s, so that's the mode. And then the middle, you'd have to count how many numbers you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13? Or is there 14? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What's half of 13? The 7th number is half of 13. Why? Because there's 6 numbers on this side, oops, and 6 numbers on that side. Look at how fast I did that. I didn't have to reach across the board.
Wow.
So number 7 is going to be in the middle, Zach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 number. Because there's 6 numbers on this side of that, there's 6 numbers on that. If there's an even number, you have to find the average of the middle two. If there's not, there's an odd number of the middle. Quick, somebody ask a question before Aaron joins another time. So,
How do I get into 15?
who?
15.
Did we do 15 already?
Probably.
No.
Oh, I ignored it?
Somebody asked
and I
what it
said
was.
no.
Yeah, somebody asked me to answer it, but they didn't ask like how to do it.
Number 15, ladies and gentlemen, I just get rid of the parentheses by looking to see how many negatives there are. For example, this. One negative means it stays -3. These two negatives put together there, it becomes a +2. One negative and one positive make it negative. Because you could think about this as being multiplication. And then it's just adding. 3 negatives, 2 positives. 2 of those cross off, you're left with 1 negative. And 1 negative and another 4 negatives is 5 total negatives. Don't worry, kids. Christmas comes but once a year. But
What if it was like 2 positives, but in place of the negative 2?
What?
Positive, like just right there too.
wait, tell me again. What if there was
If it
no
was-
negative there?
Like if it was -3 plus 2, or
Like
plus
that?
regular.
Like that?
Yeah, you can do that. So,
So that would be 2 pluses. It would be the same thing.
okay, and then if it was,
Subtracting a negative is the same as adding.
if it was -3 plus a -2.
-3 plus a -2 is the same thing as a -3 minus 2. Those two give you a negative. So you have 3 negatives and 2 negatives. So that's negatives. Miller!
With number 5, is it like is it like a 2 by 2 box, or is it a 3 by 2 box?
With number 5, is it a 3 by 2 box or a 2 by 2 box? 50 question test contains 20. I would make a 3 one because they're giving you the total number of questions, which is 50, and 20 of them are true or false, and the other 30 are multiple choice. But they don't ask you to find any numbers. They just ask you the ratio of true or false to multiple choice. They're just asking you the ratio of 20 to 30. There's 20 true or false, there's 30 multiple choice, so that is the ratio. They don't ask you to find any numbers, they don't tell you, whatever that is there. I'm mentally drained. How do you get to do it? How do you sit there and actually listen for the
Because you're just out. So we gave them grade.
what?
So we gave them grade.
I would love a good grade. I would love the best grade in history. I don't know if you'll ever get as good as that 2 tests ago, but maybe this is the one. Maybe, children, just maybe. That was 38 minutes and 9.